Welcome to something a little different, which I've honestly been building up to a bit. This is one of my own Doom WADs called Vulkan Inc. You can get this at my site at tmouse.net, or alternatively from various places in the Doom community. This is version 1.5. I did release this a couple of years ago, I think, but I've now spruced it up, rebuilt it on BD Lite, my own brutal Doom-based platform, and generally polished it up a bit. This is a map that accidentally turned into more or less a complete game when I got totally sucked into GZ Doom and how satisfying and great the environment was. Storyline is that the UAC have this offshoot called Vulkan Incorporated, which is this geothermal power company mining on a distant planet, and things are going promisingly until they accidentally drill through into hell, which kind of spoils their plans and things start going a bit wrong. I'll explain the rest as we go, but you can already see that a lot of the standard Doom stuff has been replaced. I'm going to put the skill level on Volcanic, which is the hardest, most vicious one, because I tend to play on the hardest skill level so that people who didn't write the game and know all the tricks have a chance at least the normal one. That's the theory anyway. I tend to make my games too hard as it is. So here we are, the opening scene with you being dropped off at the entrance helipad thing to the Vulkan installation power plant. There's our ride going off into the distance, and we are on our own from here on. I think, I didn't really define who you are in this game, but I think you're just the inspector or something. You've come to clear out a rodent problem, and you suddenly notice that things are a bit quiet. As to why you've got the big gun, well, you get big rodents on Mars, I don't know. Always check behind you at the start, by the way, a couple of little, not secret, but little bonus grenades. And you'll want to have those, because grenades are very powerful things to keep in reserve here. Useful for clearing out a room when you really need them. I meant to put a sculpture there in sprite form of the Vulkan Inc. logo, but I never got around to doing it. There's some fascinating insight here. Alright, so here's the main entrance, and again, one of the first changes to the game's presentation with that level intro appearing. These coins, by the way, I've been picking up were the first bit of customization that I did, which led on to more and more, because I found that I didn't have the imagination to put enough of a variety of pickups all over the place. There are 100 of those on each level, and they're sort of a way to reward exploration without having the player have to discover all the secrets. It's kind of inspired by Rise of the Triad. Alright, let's go into this back room here, because the receptionist is in pieces. And we'll see where we are. Oh, there's nothing here. Ah! And there's our first custom enemy, zombie scientists. The original sprites were drawn by Scaliano, or S. Scaliano, and I adapted them to make a couple of variations of my own. You're going to see a lot of those around. Let's grab the blue key, and any supplies that we can from these cupboards. And let's head down into the base. So down here, and throughout this level, we're making our way through sort of the offices on the surface before we eventually go down into the main base underground. Grab some stuff. Here's some normal troopers. Alright, so that plasma shooting zombie, there's one in the background there as well. I'll try to keep him alive. Yeah. So that plasma shooting zombie is one of the most common ones. Because the imp is so much more powerful, the brutal Doom variety, it's very agile, it can jump and claw at you. The zombie plasma scientist sort of replaces the original purpose of the imp. Alright. So all these scientists armed with hand weapons, they're not a threat unless you allow them to get up to you, but they're very fast and they hit very hard, so that's their... It's sort of the opposite of the demon, which is this meat shield, but it's utterly useless at melee combat once it gets up to you. I'm not going to show you all the secrets, but I'll show you this one. Alright, so we've got some more Vulcoin tokens. We've got the armour. And for people who are diligent... where's the door? This distracts you, but if you look back here, you'll see that there's another little entrance over here. It's easy to miss. You can see it through that window. And you'll see one of the other custom pickups, which increases your ammo capacity, which is like a miniature backpack, and you can stack them on top of each other, a bit like more of a Metroid kind of thing, where you're upgrading yourself as you go. Among the funnier huge errors in the first release, I spent ages coding up that thing and a couple of others, which progressively give you more ammunition or clip size and so on. And then I forgot to put any of them in the game past the introductory level. I've corrected that now, so you'll see them scattered throughout the game, and there are 4 of each to pick up as we go through. Okay. And that leads us back through here. Alright, so we're getting into the main compound now. So I can anticipate that ambush before it comes, and it's easy to forget that I just know everything that's going to happen. Alright, but finally we've got our shotgun, the second weapon, and this will remain a mainstay throughout the game. Shotgun in Brutal Doom works a bit like the one from Dangerous Dave, I suppose, if you remember that, where you have this supply of ammunition in it, but once it runs out you're going to have to stop and reload. Alright, so from there we know we need the yellow key to get to the exit lift, so we're going to continue through here. Alright. Running low of ammunition for that, so I'm going to switch over. Oh, and that's a door that opens by itself, and that's another flood through. There's quite a lot of cannon fodder in this game, I'll freely admit, because it's quite fun to mow through them. Alright. So, Vulkan came out of me just peeking into the Doom community, like I'd said, in 2015, 2016, and being just absolutely fascinated with how much it had evolved. Consequently, I threw absolutely everything that caught my interest into this. I started off just intending to experiment with making a map. I kept on putting monsters in when I discovered that you could drop things in from Realm 667, like the zombie scientists. Putting new textures in, scripting, replacing the status bar you can see down there. Doing a nice little intermission, which I'll show you later. In the end, I'd replaced about half the game, honestly, compiled from things that I made and things that the community had made. It still uses some of the original Doom monsters, as you've seen, so it's not really a total conversion, but I think it ended up being big enough to be called a game in its own right, and the game, you could call it, is Feature Creep the Game. Okay. There's a timing secret here. Let me get rid of those first. Alright, so I want that grenade. It's a valuable commodity, and that lowers this down, but when you build those stairs you can't get to that switch anymore, so I'm going to wait for that to go down. Alright, so I'm going to unswitch, switch, go over, up, and we're there. Okay. I'm kind of impressed that I did that for the first time on video, because it's not very easy. Okay. A little bit of a secret here, it's not much. Alright, so, having got the yellow key from those tunnels, we emerge back here to the main building, where we could go into the lift, but there's another door over here that we haven't quite explored yet. And we got a shotgun in our face for our troubles. Another thing about Brutal Doom you have to get used to is that the explosive barrels are really, really explosive, and you can quite easily kill yourself. If you stood here and hit that, you'd die immediately. This is meant to be a trick here. You're meant to see this door and say, oh, this switch obviously opens that door. It doesn't, it opens that wall. Okay, fortunately the barrels are there to ease our pain and cause it for everything else. Let's keep on picking up some stuff. Trying to get that health opens the third section. And Alright, here we go. And then we've got the last ones. Okay, so here's another upgrade here. This is magazine sizes increased. You could see on the bottom status bar there that I used to have a maximum of 31 for this rifle, and it's gone up to 37 now, so I can go further without reloading. Similar to the shotgun, that's gone from 8 up to 10. Alright. And 2 10 Vulkan pieces. I've still got 2 of them to find, and I honestly no clue where they are. Let's just have a quick look back through here. Okay. So, by the way, I tried various methods of making outdoor or natural areas throughout the WAD, and the area outside here is definitely not the worst one. There we go. There's the Vulkan bonus. You just get a 50-point boost to your health and armor for picking up all the Vulkans in the level. So it's a way of rewarding exploration, keeping the player poking at things. So yeah, I've repeated this a few times in my Doom videos, but sky is still definitely a weakness for me, because the analogy I always use is it's like a magic paint that you put on the ceiling and it just shows sky through it. So it makes it really difficult to do if you want to have the appearance of outside and then you want a building below that, especially if the building is meant to be a lower height than the rest of the surrounding terrain. You have to do a lot of tricks with the edges and curl them around so that the player can't see where the sky ends and the wall begins and so on. But now that we've got the yellow key, we can escape this level into the relative safety of an indoor area, which are nice and easy to do. And this switch is going to end the level here. Alright, so I've replaced the inter-level intermission with a custom one of my own that just shows up with various HUD messages when you end a level and shows you the monster's item secrets and the Vulkans that you've collected. So I'll show you what's next in the next video.